Comes from a lady named Mary. Mary, who lives here in Jefferson City. Says, please vote no on the PDMP and many articles to support this. So this is what the House Rules Committee is trying to leverage us to pass a bad bill in order to get Senate bills moving out of the House Rules Committee. This comes from Mary. I'm a chronic pain patient with multiple conditions with no cure. I have, if I pronounce this right, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, pyrrhia, spine issues, POTS, and CF leaks. I have had 3 brain surgeries and 2 spine surgeries. I have had multiple blood patches for the CFS leaks. After all 5 surgeries, I was feeling better. I was able to taper off of meds on my own. It was easy because the pain had lessened. Time passed and symptoms started again. In order to work full-time, I used opioids to reduce the pain to a more tolerable level so that I can function. This was a decision made with my doctor. I feel I've earned my right to make educated decisions about my health care with my doctor. I want the government out of my doctor's office. I am not only fighting for my rights, I am fighting for the other pain patients. My children have also inherited conditions. As one child has type 1 diabetes, so we need to work to provide the best medical care as possible. I also have a child that plans to become a doctor, and I would like that child to have the freedom to practice medicine, as all doctors should. The PDMP was sold with the premise that it would help addiction. The PDMP has nothing to do with addiction. In fact, we have seen a dramatic decrease in pain med prescription, but a significant increase in deaths from illegal drugs. A person that wants to get high will always find a way to do that. Patients in Missouri have already had pain meds reduced, cut, or even lost their doctor completely. Doctors and patients are scared and confused. Many working people take pain meds. If they lose their meds, they may no longer be able to work. Prepare for disability to rise. Also prepare for a massive doctor shortage. This is all one step closer to socialized medicine. There's a list attached of all the doctors that have had legal issues in the U.S. It's sickening. So if this isn't about addiction, what is PDMP all about? It was found in the Affordable Care Act that the government is studying pain patients because our care is costly. The PDMP is a way to use to track patients. There are links to my email to prove this. I also want to know how it is legally possible that Missouri is already sharing data on patients with at least 3 other states with the ability to flag each other. Missouri has no law about PDMP. The Executive Order 17-18 does not allow this. There's no disclosure given to the patients from the St. Louis County PDMP. I would argue that many Missourians don't even know that they're on a PDMP. But they will if there's a data breach. They will if when their name ends up on some list and database. To me, Missouri could possibly be illegally breaking the HIPAA of every patient's data that is shared across the state line. There is a HIPAA lawsuit regarding PDMP. HIPAA has some pretty strong protections about protecting patients' health history, prescription history. PDMP violates that, and there's a current lawsuit going on right now. I have one article attached, but that is a lot more, but I have a lot more information on this topic. Then let's consider if Missouri does pass the PDMP. We are now data sharing with all 50 states. If there is a data breach in Missouri, are you willing to bankrupt this state? Every other state's attorney general will sue Missouri. Ideally, I do not want the PDMP to be implemented statewide. But during the perfection meeting, please consider adding a chronic pain patient amendment. How this would work is 2 doctors, not from the same practice, would deem a pain patient as chronic. This will allow doctors to treat as needed, but as a way to benefit opposition is to say that if you need If you see the same two doctors approving many patients, you could see a possible trend. This would help current and future pain patients. Please help us. There are many article links. Mary. Let's see what other thing we have. Well, we have one. This is a pretty good one. Survey, CDC guideline having horrendous impact on pain patients. This is from the Pain News Network by Pat Anson, the PNN editor. The CDC opioid prescribing guideline has harmed pain patients, significantly reduced their access to pain care, and forced many patients to turn to alcohol and other drugs for pain relief, according to a large new survey of over 6,000 patients and healthcare providers by Pain News Network. Today marks the third anniversary of the CDC guideline, which discourages the prescribing of opioid medication for chronic pain. Although voluntary and only intended for primary care physicians, the guideline has been implemented as mandatory policy by many states, insurers, pharmacies, and throughout the U.S. healthcare system. The survey found many unintended consequences for both patients and providers. Over 85% of patients say the guideline has made their pain and quality of life worse. Made it worse. Not better, but worse. And nearly half say they have considered suicide because their pain is poorly treated. The guidelines are affecting legitimate patients in a horrendous way, while the actual addicts are just turning to street drugs, said one pain sufferer. My quality of life has been so drastically reduced, I attempted to take my life last year. Fortunately, I was found before I could bleed out, but every single day has been an absolute struggle. Over 2/3 of healthcare providers are worried about being sanctioned or persecuted for prescribing opioids. Rather than risk going to prison, many have stopped treating pain, closed their practice, or retired. Many of these doctors are scared to do their job, leaving patients in unnecessary pain, both acute and chronic. Tapering patients on chronic stable doses of opioids because some people abuse opioids is not just unjustified, it's cruel and harmful. The PNN survey was conducted online and through social media from February 17th to March 15th. That was this year. A total of, let's kind of cut off here. Skip over that paragraph. Technology's great. When it messes up. Opioid prescriptions declining. Opioid prescriptions in the U.S. have been declining for several years and now stand at their lowest level since 2003. The drop in prescription appears to accelerate since the CDC guideline was released in 2016. 8 out of 10 patients said they've been prescribed a lower dose or that their opioid prescriptions were stopped. Many indicated they were forcibly tapered off opioids without an effective alternative. I had my pain under control until my doctor told me he was cutting my pain meds in half, a patient said. He lied to me. He cut them by 85%, and now I am home-ridden. The CDC guidelines are a disaster to the chronic, intractable pain patients. I have lost all quality of life. In many days, I no longer want to live with this pain. Another patient wrote, I've been never abused by my meds, yet I'm being treated like a drug addict. Read that again. With the PDMP, Prescription Drug Monitoring Program, I have lost all quality of life. In many days, I no longer want to live with this pain, another patient wrote. I've never abused my meds, yet I'm being treated like a drug addict. VA doctors are afraid to prescribe any opioids or narcotics because of mandatory education courses given to all VA doctors, a nurse with the VA said. The veterans are not being treated by chronic pain. Suicides have increased. Our doctors should not have to choose between treating their patients in a safe, meaningful way or feeling like they could lose their licenses to practice, another patient said. Article about PDMP. What about the opioids? Well, certainly opioid addiction is a serious problem. However, it's not a problem that will be solved by putting everybody's name on a government database. That has been proven over and over again. In fact, during a recent radio interview by Gary Nolan out of Columbia, he had said that Missouri used to be 25th, with one being the worst. If you are number one in opioid-related deaths, that would be bad. Missouri used to be 25th, and now we have moved down to 32nd. New 7 spots down. We've got 7 spots better, even though Missouri is the only state in the nation without a PDMP. Why is that? You would expect that if PDMP was the cure-all and save-all for all opioid-related deaths, Missouri would be number one. We're not. We're 32nd. We have the 32nd most opioid-related deaths in the nation. But some of those swear that we just need good old government to help protect those citizens that can't protect themselves. Well, this isn't even good good old government protecting those that can't protect themselves. This is good big old government just protecting everybody, because everybody would be on the PDMP list. Everybody would be subject to be on the prescription drug monitoring system, not just those that have abused. We've talked about amendments, and I'm sure some of those amendments will be offered if and when we ever come up to PDMP. Amendments that would just have those convicted drug abusers on the PDMP list. A list with just those that have a drug problem and voluntarily, similar like gambling, be put on the list. But why do the law-abiding citizens of the 21st Senatorial District need to be on a statewide government database? Let's see, what else we have here? Got lots of stuff here, lots of stuff to pick from. On the back. Yeah. See. This is about Veterans Day. And another speech about Veterans Day. Veterans sacrifice their freedom so we can enjoy it. Distinguished